Well, welcome to another amazing episode of the Marketplace Pastors Podcast. Look, y'all, we are rocking and rolling. I hope you had a chance to partake of episodes 1, 2, 3, and 4. Man, we unpacked that thing. I'm telling you, if you haven't had a chance to listen, this is the time that you run it back. I'm gonna always tell you, you got to run it back, right? But this episode, though, we're just going higher and higher and higher. The amazing people that God has allowed me to meet in the ministry, in the marketplace, just y'all, I can't, sometimes I don't even have the words. But one of the things that I have imparted through every season of the Marketplace Pastors Podcast is to be led by the Lord. And in this season, it's all about birthing, building, and becoming. And so now we're pivoting. We're pivoting to the building. The first 4 episodes was all about the birthing. All right. So now it's time to pivot to the building. And today's guest knows all about building. Today's guest is none other than Pastor Patrice Meadows. She is a devoted wife, mother, pastor, and educator. And since 2012, she has served alongside her husband, my pastor, Apostle Brian Meadows, as senior pastor of Embassy City in Atlanta, Georgia. After graduating from North Carolina State University and joining Teach for America, she knew that her life's calling was to serve in education. She received her master's in science, teaching, and later her specialist in educational leadership from Georgia State University. After an extensive career as a teacher and school administrator, she pursued her dream of opening the first and only public performing arts charter school in Southwest Atlanta. And she don't know about this. She don't know I'm a retired music teacher. She don't know that, y'all. She don't know my love for the arts yet, but I'm sure we'll talk about it today. But in 2001, she founded Atlanta Smart Academy with a mission to use science, math, and the arts to build innovative solutionists, where she currently serves as executive director. And y'all know, as soon as Cree get old enough, that's where he going. Y'all know that, right? All right, just as long as you know. She is the CEO of Patrice Meadows LLC, an organization dedicated to educating, empowering, and equipping women to walk in their purpose. In 2018, she released a book titled Side Chicks, Married to the Visionary. Y'all know I ain't read that. I'm gonna have to have her back. We're gonna have to talk about that. In which she shares her experience as a wife, helping other women carry the vision of their families. She is a highly sought after speaker in ministry, business, and education around the country. And her specialty is planning, launching, and building new ventures. She enjoys mentoring, coaching, and educating others about how to build with God. And today's episode is all about building with God. So I want to say, welcome to the boardroom, Patrice Meadows.
Wow, thank you so much for that amazing introduction. That's amazing. Thank you so much. I'm really honored to be here.
I'm honored to have you here. I am just so excited because when the Lord gave me the theme for this season was birthing, building, and becoming, I had no idea who would be my guest. I had no idea what his plan was. And as he just began to hand pick people, and I really started to lean into it to really see what he was doing, I was like, oh my God, each of these guests are either birthing, they're either building, or they're becoming something amazing in the earth. And I was like, you are so strategic, God.
Yeah.
And so today we really just going to lean into this conversation around building with him and for him. And, oftentimes when I think about building, I think about the biblical characters that we're all familiar with, like Moses, when he was instructed to write the 10 Commandments. I think about all of the specific instructions that he was given, to build the tabernacle and who should maintain the tabernacle, even down to the garments that needed to be worn by the priest who were responsible for like the offerings and like the sacrifices, right? I think about people like Noah and the instructions that were given to build the ark years before there was a drop of rain, right? I think about Nehemiah and the instructions that he received to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem after a long season of ruin. So when you say, building with him and for him, there are not only specific instructions on what and when and how to build, but who should be at the table to help you build. So how has this truth showed up in your life? Tell us your journey. How did you get here? Because you are doing some amazing things, and I can't wait to visit the school, girl. I can't wait.
Oh my goodness, yes. So it has been really a journey. It has been a faith walk for sure. I started off in education, and even how I got to education was all God. I had plans to go to medical school. So when I was in college, I studied biology. I was pre-med. I did all of the things. I had internships. I worked in a hospital. I was on my way to medical school. And I did something crazy. My last year, I remember my church went on, they did a 21-day consecration every January. So, specifically, when I participated in the consecration, it was my senior year. And I said specifically, okay, Lord, if it's not your will that I go to med school, I just want clear direction. I will be willing and obedient to change and to go in the direction that you want me to go. Fully thinking that, yeah, I'm doing the right thing. I had planned this thing out. I was ready. I just wanted confirmation, really, but God had other plans. It was so clear to me that God wanted me to go into teaching. So I did just that, shifted everything, all of my plans completely disrupted. Ended up joining and getting accepted into Teach for America, and they shipped me off to Atlanta, Georgia, where I was completely unfamiliar, didn't know anyone, and just had to really trust God through that process. So I started off as a high school chemistry teacher, and my life was just completely and radically shifted out of that one act of obedience to God. And from that experience, years in, I saw some things that God really placed on my heart to change, things that did not have to be the experiences that some communities had with the education system. And he really placed on my heart to do something different. And I thought this would be many years down the road, 10, 15, maybe 20 years down the road. But God placed people in my life to encourage me to move forward, to go forward with the plans and the visions that God had given me. So in 2018, I left my very comfortable position, my very comfortable job, and a place where I had experienced favor, the hand of God. I saw him moving, and I embarked on a journey to start planning for Atlanta Smart Academy. That was in 2018. I moved forward full steam ahead, building a board, starting planning. We were out in the community, knocking on doors. We were in the streets, getting feedback, and we were writing a petition. So that is like a dissertation for those that don't know the process of getting a school open. And we were approved in 2019. And again, we're moving full steam ahead, pressing forward. And the pandemic hit 2020, and everything just came crashing down. All my little plans that I put together, my timeline completely destroyed. So even after the initial obedience to God, I had to keep going back to the throne, keep trusting God through the process, because even the things that we thought we had meticulously planned, there were just so many things that came against that. So having to continue to trust God through that process, to push forward, everything being delayed. We had to do construction that was on pause, and just really not knowing, and get into a place where I was completely discouraged, even as the visionary, where I'm used to pushing people and getting them to buy in, and really just needed some encouragement. So that's just a brief history of our timeline. we pressed forward and end up opening in August of 2021. So we are here now in our 4th year of operation, and just trusting God through the process. We're still in a faith walk for sure, but I have seen God's hand move and truly learned that I cannot build this on my own. I can't just build it with my own intellect, my own strategy, my own wisdom. I cannot do this without God. So here we are building with God.
We can't do it on our own. I don't care how smart we are.
Mm-mm.
It is imperative that we build with God. Girl, let me tell you. So people don't know this part. I didn't even share this on none of the podcasts so far. During the pandemic, at the time I was living in Cartersville. And I had connected with a local ministry. This was right around the time that I got the call as a pastor. And I knew that I wasn't going to be a traditional pastor because I had been, in the business space for 20 plus years. And I just couldn't fathom that God was going to take me out of the business world and put me behind a pulpit. Like that was just like not. I was like, that's not God. It's like, that's not God. So me and God had a meeting. I said, okay, Lord, let's have a meeting. We got to have a business meeting here. Now if I say yes to this call, I need you to be clear. We need to be clear here how this gonna work. And so that's when he gave me the vision about being a marketplace pastor and what that looked like. And most people, when I say that, they're like, what is that? I've had people to say, there's no such thing. Oh, you just an evangelist. I was like, you have no idea, right? And that's the thing about being a trailblazer. Even sometimes our call is so unique that in order for us to walk it out, we have to walk it out with God because there's no blueprint, right? Especially as a visionary. Sometimes you're building something that there is no blueprint for, right? And so during that time, being out in Cartersville, God connected me with a ministry. And he said, there's a lot of entrepreneurs, business owners, people who really want to do what you've been doing very well. So I'm going to connect the two of you all. So I went, just literally was led of the Lord, went and met with the pastor, the leader. The Lord started all of a sudden downloading vision for this house. And I was like, why are you showing me all these things? And they had this beautiful edifice and they had all of this space. And I said, Lord, what are they going to do with this space? And he said, I want you to create a coffee house. And I said, you want me to build a coffee house? He said, yep, that's going to be the marketplace ministry space. And so he gave me this whole blueprint and this vision for this coffee house. And so I took it to him and I said, the Lord just gave me this blueprint, this vision for a coffee house at your church. I'm like, he was like, oh my God, we've always wanted that, but we didn't have anybody to execute it for us. And I was like, well, I would love to do that. If you give me a chance, let me write up a budget to let you know how much it'll cost. So God gave me the blueprint. He gave me the business plan. He showed me all of the things that we would need to build it, presented it to him. And he was like, go for it. We built it. We were planning the grand opening. It was fully stocked staff. I had trained all the staff. Everybody was ready. And then the pandemic hit. Everybody got sick. As a matter of fact, we were doing our Serve Save. We were getting all of our certifications for Serve Save. And we all had come together for the training and everybody got sick. And I was like, oh my God, what is happening? And so, of course, everybody during that time retreated. And I remember maybe it was about maybe 6 months. So this was in 21. No, this was in 2020. It was about 6 months and the Lord, was like, I need you to go ahead and start moving forward. And I'm like, Lord, it's like all of these rules and we can't do this. And he was like, you got to learn the strategy to build even during the pandemic. And I remember actually being invited to a podcast and the title was Building During the Pandemic. That was the name of the podcast episode, girl. I was like, I am crazy. I'm out here in these streets and ain't nobody outside. I'm out here building a coffee house. So it was so funny. But, the Lord continued to give me strategy on how to build and how to prepare. And it was during that time that he gave new strategy, new idea, because the whole world had been shut down, because we were doing things differently during that time. And so I know all about having your plans and being ready to do all this stuff. And then the whole world shuts down. And God is still saying, but yeah, my vision is still going to stand. And so that is amazing. That we had that same experience, like right around that. That's crazy.
Yes.
And, So what lessons did you learn about navigating around like the detours? When God is giving you instructions to build something and you've got all these detours, like with everything he tells you to do, you've got this opposition, you've got these setbacks. Like what were your key like takeaways and nuggets that you learned during that season of your life?
Yeah, one of the things that I learned for sure was patience. I am a fast mover and shaker. I drive fast, I'm walking fast, talking fast, and I really had to learn to be patient. Sometimes that looked like just being still. There were deadlines that we needed to meet, there were things that needed to be accomplished, but sometimes you can move so fast that you don't take time to just stop and listen, stop and take it all in. Like you said, during the pandemic, we this was a scenario that we had never lived through before. There were even the Department of Health, they were changing their policies and procedures, trying to figure the things out. The Department of Education, they were trying to determine, what does this look like? Can schools stay open? What happens? Do you shut down? Do you send people home? So there was so much unknown. And had I not taken the time to stop and to be patient, to wait, to listen, I would have missed so many lessons. During that time, initially, when I had to stop, of course, it feels like, oh, this is the end. We're doomed. We had to delay opening. We'll never open. But in looking back, I can really see how important it was for me to learn during that season. I was able to look and see, what did other schools do? What did other businesses do? How did these things impact those businesses and schools? What are things that I can implement, and what things should I not do? What things did not go well? So I had an opportunity, because I waited, because I was patient, to really sit and learn. And I have taken that on, that when I face challenges, sometimes it's okay. Take that as an opportunity to learn, to stop, to take it all in, to grow, and then to press on and move forward.
Mhm, and most people don't have patience, especially in this day and age,
Yes.
especially our Gen Zs, because we see, things on social media that gives the illusion that this happened overnight,
Mhm.
right? People don't understand process.
Yeah.
And so many people get lost in the process. So many people give up
Mhm.
in the process because they don't understand that not only are you building something, God is also building you during that process. And so patience, man, is a fruit of the spirit that many people hate. They don't pray for patience. Don't pray. You ain't got to pay. You ain't got to pray for it. You ain't got to pray. The Lord gonna create opportunities for you to
That's
learn
right.
how to wait.
That's right. Definitely.
And I love those seasons of waiting and resting, although they are hard for type A personalities, for builders, for visionaries, because we like, let's get it done, right? But I've also learned to like embrace those seasons of stillness and sitting with the Father as well, because he gives you strategies to build smarter and not harder. Because I think sometimes because we're like focused and we're exerting a lot of energy, we don't stop to see that there's a smarter way to do this if you just step back and see the whole blueprint and not just feel like you have to do everything yourself. So let's talk about like the people that God sent along the journey to help you build this, because I know you ain't doing it by yourself. I mean, I'm sure you had some kind of help and some kind of support, along the way, especially when we think about Nehemiah and building the wall. God gave Nehemiah the vision of what to do, but the how to do it. But then he had like the who, like who gonna help me do all this work, right? So let's kind of give them some strategies around, yes, God is doing something on the inside of you, building your character, building your confidence, building your faith and your trust and reliance on him to build, but then the people that he sends along the way to kind of help push that vision forward. What did you learn during that season, and how did you know the right people to build with during that season of your life?
Yeah, I have found that who you're building with is so important. It will impact everything. And when I first started, like you said, God had given me the vision, and I did sort of an open call, a cold call. I connected with my networks and let them know that I had and I was building a school. That was the vision. And really, I just started to meet with people, and I shared the vision, and I saw who resonated with the vision. I saw who got excited about the vision. But not only those that got excited about the vision, those who were willing to do the work. At the in the very beginning, you need workers. You need people who will not just say, "Yeah, I'm excited," not just clap, but people that will put their hands to the plow. We built this thing from scratch, from the ground up. Absolutely no money, no investors. We just had people who were dedicated to what we were building. And I had three board members in particular. They were founding board members that started with me really quickly, 2018, maybe end of 2018, early 2019. And they stayed for years until the school got open. And connecting with them just really meant everything. They were doing the groundwork. They were connecting with their network. They were donating their time, their money, their expertise. They were as excited, if not more, than I was about what we were building. And that helped us to get through those really difficult seasons, times where we applied for grants and didn't get them. They encouraged me, like, it's okay, let's keep going. There were times where we were looking for properties and we thought we found one, and then that was taken from us. And again, they were there saying, okay, that's okay. We still believe in you. We still believe in the vision. Let's keep moving forward. So it started with those board members, and they put their skill, their money, their time where their mouth was. They didn't just say they were supportive, but they put their hands to the plow and they really worked and supported us in those early years and through the process. And one of them is still with us to this day. And from there, I realized, because along the way, I also found some people who I thought were going to be a part of what we were building, but it didn't work out. They weren't able to stay the course. And it was part of the learning process. I had to understand that it wasn't personal. I couldn't allow those things to discourage me. It just helped me to see who we didn't want on our team, which is valuable information to know as well. And sometimes people are not intentionally trying to sabotage. They think that they can handle the pressure. They see other people doing it. They think they want to be a part. Again, they may be excited about it, but they don't necessarily have the stamina, the endurance to deal with those early stages. And there are some people who wanted to be a part at the beginning and didn't have what it took at the beginning, but they are valuable now. Now that we are up and running, they have a different skill set that did not allow them to be a initial builder or a founder, but they can be a part of our growth phase. And that was important for me to realize as well. You have different people for different seasons and different areas, and that was okay. And those were some very important lessons that I had to learn along the way, even as we started hiring staff. Again, looking for people who were equipped for that stage of building.
That's so good. So much wisdom in that. So not only knowing who, to help you build, but where to put them, where they are supposed to be along the phases of building, is so valuable, because a lot of times we have the right people in the wrong places at the wrong time, and so it's super important that we build with God and we use his wisdom to know, to discern not only who, but when and where and how, and being okay with people as they come and as they go. Because as they're sowing and seeding into, the vision, sometimes God is blessing their hands because of what they're doing, which is a part of the increase, right? And so knowing when it's okay to allow people to pivot in and pivot out is important, but also knowing that you've got people that are pillars, right? And so did you have like I know you said there was one in particular person that's still with you to this day, but do you have people that were really solid pillars, from the beginning and even now, even though they may not have their hands to the plow, there's still people that you can count on as you're building and growing? Did you have any of those individuals?
Yes, absolutely. We have pillars who were at different stages or they impacted our organization in different ways. So we have investors who started with us at the beginning and they may not be doing the work, but they're providing funding, which is very important during this building process. So we have those who are never in the forefront and cannot be seen, but they are absolutely supporting and have supported us along the way. We also have teachers, founding teachers who started with us before we had a building, before we had classrooms or students, and they helped us to recruit, and they are still with us today. Families come back year after year because of these founding teachers that we have. We also have founding families. So at the beginning, we had a building that was still under construction. So we had families who really bought into the vision of the school and they started with us. They recruited other families. They helped us to paint. They helped us to clean and organize at the very beginning. And they stayed with us long term or as long as they were able to. So we had pillars at every stage from the board to silent investors to family members as well as staff that have been pillars in our organization.
And I'm so glad you brought that out because a lot of people don't realize that pillars are really important at different phases of building. It is so imperative. And I know that you're teaching some of these strategies in your amazing coaching program for entrepreneurs and business owners, Building with God. So let's talk a little bit about that because you just started this amazing 4-week coaching program that empowers entrepreneurs, leaders, visionaries with principles and strategies. You're talking about legacy building, program building, all the things. So tell us a little bit about that program because I know that there are people out here that are listening to this episode and they're like, oh my God, she has so much wisdom. I want to learn from her. How do I do that? How do I get in good on this stuff, right? Share a little bit about the coaching program.
Yeah, so Build with God is a 4-week coaching intensive program where we are really focused on anyone who is building something. It can be building a legacy, building a family, building a business, building a ministry. And we take you through both practical strategies as well as biblical wisdom on how to build whatever it is you're building with God. So I found in my experience that there are strategies, there are tools that the world uses and implements, and those can be effective. But as a believer, we have a responsibility to not only build effectively, but to ensure that what we build in the process of building and who we become in the building reflects God's glory. So our 4-week coaching program infuses biblical wisdom and principles with practical business strategies for building.
That's so good. So I know uh, cohort 4 started in January. When is the next one going to be for those individuals that missed this last one? Do you have another one scheduled?
Yes, we do. Our next one is coming up in March, the beginning of March. We meet on Tuesday evenings. Now, I had people who missed and they waited until the last minute to sign up and the cohort closed before they could register. So the next one starts the beginning of March. So registration is now open. And the benefit is that you not only complete the coaching program and then I just send you out, you become a part of the Build with God community so that you can have a network of people that have similar ideas and similar principles as you build so that you can have support and accountability along the way.
I love that. I think I'm going to get in cohort number 5. 5 is my number, girl. That's my number. That's my number. God just gave me this amazing new vision that I think He's ready for me to go ahead and start building. And I'm like, I think I could, especially that legacy building piece
Yes.
is so important because so many times we build things and we're not thinking about legacy. We're not thinking about how to leave it to our children's children's children, right? And there's so much wisdom that we need in building legacy. And so this is definitely a legacy vision that the Lord has given me. And so I definitely will be signing up for cohort number 5. And where do we go to sign up for that? Can you tell us where we go to sign up for that coaching program?
Yes, absolutely. You go to my website, patricemeadows.com, and on the homepage, you will see Are You Ready to Build? And you just click there to learn more about the program and to register.
Yes, and I'm assuming that there we can sign up so that we get notification when the next cohort is going to start too, right?
Absolutely, yes. From my homepage, you will see contact, so you can leave your information there or sign up for my mailing list for more information.
I love that. I'm excited. This was so good. I mean, we got in there and just like, We ain't gonna give y'all too much. Now, I can go on and on with these podcasts. But see, I don't want to give y'all too much. I just want to give you a little bit so you can sign up for cohort number 5. Because guess what? I'm gonna be in there. We are building with God. We are doing some amazing things for the kingdom of God. So forget what you think is going on in the world. There are amazing people that are building amazing things for the future. We are not distracted by what we see right now. We are not deterred. Our faith is not shaken, not one bit. Guess what? Because we're keeping our hands to the plow, we're keeping our face fixed like a flint, and we're doing exactly what God has called us to do in this season, and that is to build with Him. I want to say thank you so much, Patrice, for just imparting wisdom. I want to say thank you for this amazing program that you've started for leaders, entrepreneurs, and visionaries who really want to know how to do this the right way. I'm so excited to visit Atlanta Smart Academy really soon. So if you have a child out there, they are also available for open enrollment. Real quick, can you tell us a little bit about open enrollment for Atlanta Smart Academy?
Yes, enrollment is now open for the 25-26 school year for rising 5th through 8th graders. So you can visit our website, atlantasmartacademy.org, to sign up today and also join one of our information sessions.
That's so good. And that's good too, because middle school, I remember teaching middle school. Woo! Middle school, honey. Middle school. Y'all know middle school you got to have a special anointing for middle school. There is so much going on with middle schoolers. And so to have your middle schooler in a spirit filled environment where they are not only learning, educational strategies, but also kingdom principles is amazing. So if you have a middle schooler, 25, 26, I encourage you to look out for all of the links to everything that we've talked about are in the chat. Please feel free to reach out, send messages. Do you have any closing remarks that you want to leave with our audience today?
Yes, I will leave. If God has given you the vision, He has also given you everything you need in order to build.
I love that. Signing off from the Marketplace Pastors podcast. We'll see you in the boardroom next time. Have a blessed day.